friends, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian and today we're going to be talking about all things gardening and I'm so excited. I did a gardening class for the past 4 or 5 months, I want to say. It was with a local flower farmer and I'm super interested in growing cut flowers as well as vegetables, but honestly mostly excited about cut flowers. So I'm going to be talking a lot about flowers today. I live on Maui. There are hundreds of different microclimates here, so it was pretty intimidating to try to figure out what zone I'm in because my zone could be different from someone who lives 15 minutes away from me, and there's not a ton of information on zone like Hawaii zones. Anyways, it was so helpful to go to this class with her. I learned so much. I got inspired. I actually feel really equipped to start my garden this year. So I want to take you guys along for the journey. This is going to be a several part series and this is going to be part 1, and we're going to be focusing on, you know, growing seeds, coming up with a garden plan, and setting up our garden boxes today. Okay, let's talk about my plan for the garden. I decided to get beds from a company called Garden. It was the same garden beds that my instructor used for my gardening class, so I'm very familiar with them, and the products are just so amazing. They have such innovative things as well, so definitely take a browse on there. They kindly gifted me these for this video and I am so grateful. Something really cool about Garden is they have this 3D planning tool on their website, so I went in there and just played around with all of their like sizing and bed options to try to figure out a configuration that would work well for my garden bed. The next step I need to do is really plan the layout of my garden and where I'm going to be placing the seeds. So I've sourced my seeds from a few different places. They are definitely probably the most popular ones you've heard of. I got them from Johnny's, Eden Brothers, and then also a few from Floret Flowers because they just released some Floret Flower Originals, which I am so excited to grow. But I also found a few on Etsy as well. She's pretty like low scale. Excited to try her seeds as well. I'll have links to all of these in the description. And outside of seeds, I actually ordered some dahlia tubers from Triple Wren Farms. So very excited to start those as well. I started to feel a little overwhelmed when they all came in because each seed has its own growing information and it was a little bit intimidating. So I wanted to show you how I've been organizing my seed inventory, and I'm actually using Google Sheets. I tried to look for a template but couldn't really find something, so I just put this together. It's super simple. On the left hand side I have a photo of the flower, the category, whether it's a flower or a vegetable, the type of flower, and then the variety of flower. And then I put a link to actually where I got the seed from. That way I can also reference that page for growing information, the year I bought the seed, and then some little notes about growing. I didn't fully fill this in. As you can see, some of these I kind of just like did haphazardly. But ideal information I wanted in here was the plant height, the days to maturity, and kind of some information on germination. Once I got all this information put in, it was just felt like a massage for my brain, and I was able to look at all the plant heights and kind of figure out an order of what plants should be where. I'm someone who always like has a digital option, but then I also want a paper option. So what I did was I printed off a ton of growing information on all of these flowers and put them all in a binder. I would definitely recommend checking out Floret Farms. They have this digital library now, and you can just go to their website, search a variety of flowers that you're wanting to grow, and she has these really nice growing sheets that you can easily print off for free. I actually haven't ordered any seeds besides carrots for like my vegetable garden. My main priority was doing the flowers, and that's just kind of what I'm most excited about. So I'm thinking with the vegetable garden, I might just buy starter plants at a local nursery just so they're jump started a little bit. I'm not too concerned about growing those from seedlings, whereas cut flowers, it is really beneficial to grow them from seed because the varieties they sell at like Lowe's or Home Depot aren't necessarily the best cut flowers. But I got a ton of different seeds and I'm so excited to get these all started. I'll show you a couple that have photos these Bee's Choice Dahlias, stunning. The Zinnia Unicorn Mix. These are all from Floret Farms. You can check on their website. They may still have these in stock. And this Zinnia Dawn Creek Pastels. I'm just, it's gonna bring me so much joy. One of my favorite flower YouTubers. I need to link this one video she did on a beginner cut flower garden. It's all direct sow, and then she also has like an intermediate version of it where you start seeds. So that video was literally the most straightforward thing I could find, and it was so helpful when doing my own plan. So I'm definitely gonna link that in the description. All right, it is time to get into the next step, which is seed starting. I learned a lot from that garden class I did. She actually had a Google Doc with all the recommended products to kind of make your DIY seed starting mix. So I bought everything that she recommended, but I will mention that Floret Farms has a free seed starting course, and the products she has in there are very accessible, like no matter where you live. So if I can link to that, I will. So these are all the materials I got. It was a bag of Pro Mix, a bag of compost, and then also this fertilizer. Unfortunately, the compost had quite a bit of wood chips, which is not ideal for starting seeds because you don't want anything to block them from popping out. Keep an eye out for the tops and just grab out any bigger wood chips that may block them. Then I took the hose and wet down the mixture. You want it to be a consistency where you like smash it in a ball, it holds its shape, but it's not dripping wet. Once I got it to those consistencies, I was able to start putting it into these little seed starting kits. I wasn't exactly sure how many of each to start, but I ended up doing about 5 of each flower just in case one didn't germinate. I would have a couple extra. I was kind of working backwards. I should have, you know, game planned exactly how many I could fit into my garden beds, but honestly I was too excited. I just wanted to get these seeds started because I know it takes, you know, a few months before I would even be able to see flowers, so I wanted to get started as soon as possible. But now I have to go backwards and actually figure out how many plants based on their spacing and all that will actually fit in the garden beds. But you know, I might have extras and I can just give them to a friend or something. It's just so exciting when you start to see the seeds germinate. So obviously a lot haven't germinated yet. The times range from like 3 days to 2 weeks, and then some varieties of flowers can be a little bit more sporadic. All right, we have all of our seeds started now, and now we just need to wait. There is no frost here, so I've just been leaving the seedlings out on the side of the house that gets the most sunshine, because all of the seeds that I did buy do need light to germinate, which is something that you should probably note if you are going to be doing seed starting. All right, the last part of this video is actually setting up the garden beds. So let's start building. The veggie beds were very easy to put together. They actually have multiple configurations. One of the beds we got was the 10-in-1, so there's 10 different sizings you can do. We went with the 2.5 by 9.5 configuration, and then with the other beds we did 3.5 by 6.5. I would say each bed takes about an hour to build. Honestly, the most time-consuming part is ripping off all the little plastic film on the outside, but once you get that done, it goes by really fast. Once we got all of the garden beds made, we started to fill them. I watched a video from a YouTuber called Epic Gardening to try to figure out the best way to fill these things. They are so big. I definitely underestimated how much work it would be to fill them. What I chose to do was a bottom layer of cardboard and then sticks and then leaves, dried leaves. If I could go back, I would definitely get a ton more sticks. We mostly filled the bed with leaves and there was so much settling. We had to use so much soil in this first bed. So I think for the future beds, we're going to get a bunch of sticks before adding any soil. For the soil, I ended up doing just like the most affordable topsoil I could find. It was about like $3.50 a bag. We did the first layer with the cheaper topsoil, and then about the top like 8 or 10 inches, we wanted to have a high quality, nutrient dense mix. I just followed the tutorial from Epic Gardening. I'll have that linked below. It was a mix of vermiculite, compost, and peat moss, and we just put that in the tarp, mixed it all together, and packed that on top. It was quite expensive. It was about $150 just for this top layer, and it just barely filled this one bed. So I think we're gonna go back and look into other options for topsoil and just ways we can save a little bit more money when filling the other 3 beds. I'll definitely update you guys on the other beds in the next video. Alright, that is going to be the end of part 1 of my gardening series. I will definitely take you along as things start to grow, when I transplant things, but I hope you enjoyed it so far, and I hope it gives you lots of inspiration for your garden at home. If you guys have any suggestions of what I should grow, or I don't know, literally anything. I am still a very novice gardener, and this is truly my first time starting a garden aside from my gardening class, so I am very open to any advice you have. I'm especially looking for recommendations on what to put in our veggie garden. I want it to be things that we will actually use while cooking. Really want to grow a ton of strawberry plants because I just know that is something we will definitely eat, and the strawberries that are just ripened by the sun are just so delicious. So honestly, I would do a whole bed of strawberries. But if you have any tips on growing strawberries or anything, please let me know in the comments. I love you guys, and remember, Jesus loves you more. Bye.